A spinning drill pressed into a monk's skull. 10 seconds, no scream, not even a wince. Decades of whispered legend claim Shaolin monks feel no pain, but in 2008, science and history collided in a viral shock. Is it all physics, a mind game, or something even stranger written deep in living flesh? What is really shielding these bodies from agony? On a cold morning in Henan in 2008, monk Wei Lin stood before a crowd. Eyes steady as a high-speed drill bit pressed against his temple. The machine whirred, spinning for 10 full seconds, yet Wei Lin remained calm. No flinch, no sound. Medical staff rushed in as soon as the drill stopped. Ultrasound scans and neurological checks revealed only a faint abrasion. His nerves, muscles, and skull were all intact. Journalists and skeptics demanded answers. Physicists pointed to the way torque and heat were managed, but even they admitted that most people would not last a second. Dr. Lin Shu, a sports medicine advisor present that day, explained that Wei Lin controls where the force lands, and decades of discipline make his skin and tissues thicker and less reactive. Wei Lin's feat sent shockwaves online, but its roots run far deeper than a viral spectacle. The Shaolin Temple was founded in 495 CE at the foot of Mount Song and began as a Buddhist retreat. Everything changed when Bodhidharma, a monk from India, arrived and introduced Chan meditation. His teachings combined stillness with relentless physical drills. Over centuries, Shaolin Kung Fu became more than self-defense. It became a philosophy of transformation through hardship. The word Gong Fu itself means skill earned by hard work, not just fighting prowess. Ancient scrolls from the Song dynasty describe pain as a fleeting illusion, a trick of the mind. Monks practiced observing discomfort without letting it define them. In the Yi Jin Jing and the Shi Sui Jing, cryptic lines speak of stilling pain at its source and using breath as a shield. Modern coaches debate how literal those texts are, but the doctrine remains clear. Pain is not the enemy. It is a test faced with both body and mind. The Shaolin path demands years of training, not just to harden flesh, but to reshape the very experience of suffering. Behind every jaw-dropping stunt lies a philosophy where pain is unmasked, studied, and, through discipline, reduced to a passing sensation. The spectacle of Wei Lin's drill is not an isolated miracle, but the latest chapter in a story that began 15 centuries ago, where mind and body were forged together in the fires of daily hardship. Master Shi Liliang begins his morning with a ritual that would terrify most athletes. He stands barefoot, hands steady, as a junior monk swings a wooden staff into his abdomen. The sound echoes through the training hall, but Shi Liliang's posture does not waver. His skin shows a faint red mark, nothing more. For decades, he has subjected his body to escalating impacts. Palms, bricks, even spear blades pressed against his throat. These are not just tests of courage, they are the foundation of Iron Shirt Qigong, a practice designed to transform flesh and nerve into living armor. Recent studies at Henan University put these claims to the test. Over 6 years, researchers scanned the torsos and limbs of 20 seasoned Iron Shirt practitioners and compared them to untrained volunteers. MRI and ultrasound imaging revealed a striking difference. The monk's dermal fascia, the tough connective tissue beneath the skin, was on average 37% thicker in key impact zones. This dense, fibrous layer acts as a natural shield, absorbing and distributing force that would otherwise bruise or break unconditioned tissue. But the transformation runs deeper than scar tissue. Skin biopsies and nerve mapping from the Henan cohort found that trained regions contained fewer nociceptors, the nerve endings responsible for sensing pain. In practical terms, a pinprick or sharp blow delivered to a monk's conditioned forearm triggers a slower, duller pain response than the same spot on a novice. Over years of repeated microtrauma, the body adapts, not just by toughening the surface, but by dialing down the sensitivity of its warning system. Shi Liliang's own medical records, shared with visiting doctors, document thickened fascia bands and reduced skin sensitivity in his shins and forearms. Yet he insists the real secret lies in the union of breath, focus, and relentless practice. The science, though, leaves little doubt. Iron Shirt training rewires the body's defenses, forging a measurable shield between sensation and suffering. A monk braces as a heavy wooden log swings toward his pelvis. The impact lands with a dull thud. He exhales, steps aside, and invites another strike, this time to the inner thigh. These are not stunts for applause, but the result of years spent hardening tissue and mastering how force travels through the body. In the world of Shaolin, the infamous iron crotch demonstration is one example of how impact conditioning rewrites what the body can withstand. Sports medicine researchers have studied these feats with clinical tools. Electromyography, EMG, reveals that long-term practitioners show fewer active nerve fibers in areas that are repeatedly struck. A 2020 review in Frontiers in Physiology notes that over time, chronic percussion leads to both physical and neurochemical changes. Tendons thicken, nerve endings diminish, and the body's own painkillers, endorphins, flood the bloodstream with each controlled breath. But not every Shaolin feat depends on brute adaptation. Some rely on clever physics. During firewalking and boiling oil trials, monks use a combination of calloused skin and sweat to their advantage. The Leidenfrost effect comes into play when a surface is much hotter than the skin and a thin layer of vapor forms instantly, insulating the flesh for a split second, just long enough to avoid a burn if the timing is right. In boiling oil demonstrations, profuse sweat or a quick dip creates this vapor barrier, letting monks withdraw their hands before heat can penetrate. Pressure math explains other spectacles. When a monk lies on a bed of nails, hundreds of sharp points spread his weight so that each nail presses with less force than it takes to break skin. The formula is simple. Pressure equals force divided by area. More nails means lower pressure per point. Even when a stone is smashed on the chest, the impact is distributed across the stone and the body, keeping injury at bay. A sports medicine reviewer summed it up. Much of what looks miraculous is a mix of anatomical adaptation and physics know-how. These techniques do not erase pain, but they transform it, redirecting, diluting, or delaying its arrival. The spectacle is real, and so is the science behind it. Inside a research lab in Chengdu, a Shaolin monk sits motionless as a heated probe presses against his forearm. The temperature climbs past what most people can tolerate, yet his expression barely changes. On a monitor, a live scan of his brain flickers with color. What unfolds in these scans is not numbness, but a radical rewiring of pain itself. A 2016 functional MRI study, led by Faid El-Zaidan, revealed a striking pattern. The anterior cingulate cortex and the insula, regions that light up when pain feels threatening, stay unusually quiet. The pain signal still reaches the brain, but its emotional sting is dialed down. Instead of panic or distress, the monk's mind registers the sensation as neutral, almost like background noise. Electroencephalogram, or EEG, recordings add another layer. Veteran practitioners display muted electrical spikes in the first milliseconds after a painful jolt, suggesting their brains process discomfort with less urgency. Over years, this blunting of pain response becomes a learned reflex, visible in the brain's wiring. The chemistry matches the scans. Positron emission tomography, or PET, tracking brain chemicals in real time, has measured surges of endogenous opioids, nature's own painkillers, during deep qigong breathing. Blood tests taken before and after these drills show a spike in endorphins and dopamine, flooding the system with relief. Even when scientists block opioid receptors with the drug naloxone, monks still report less pain than untrained volunteers, hinting at layers of control beyond simple chemistry. What emerges is not a body that ignores pain, but a mind that reinterprets it. Decades of breath, focus, and repetition reshape how signals are received and labeled. Pain is not erased, but reframed. No longer an alarm, but a passing sensation. In this way, the Shaolin tradition bridges ancient doctrine with modern neuroscience, showing how disciplined training can transform suffering at its source. Pain is universal, yet the brain's wiring remains astonishingly flexible. Neuroscience confirms that breath and focus can reshape our response. Even outside a monastery, in a world chasing instant relief, true resilience still comes from daily discipline. The mind's power to transform suffering is real and always within reach.